Oh, hello there, traveller. I have to say it's a little late to be taking the West Road, isn't it? Never mind, no problem at all. The lit lamp is always open to anyone in weather like this. Drop your cloak and boots by the fire and let's get you warmed up before the chill hits your bones. Quite the storm indeed. It blew in near dawn and has been holding steady ever since. Hopefully tomorrow might show us a little warmth. I don't suppose I could get your name for the ledger? I just need to keep track of the folks who come and go. Thank you kindly, and for what it's worth, you can call me Oliver. Take a seat. Let me pour you out a bowl of stew and get you something to drink. I insist. The master of the house won't mind a wayward bowl of stew here or there. And besides, it's good to have company this late at night. The master of the house would be my grandfather. The old codger runs the place while it's light. I keep things running over the evenings and nights. So whilst the storm howls through the valley, he gets to tuck himself into bed, and I have to man the front in case folk like you wander in. Again, no problem. None of the interesting people travel during the day anyway. Here you are, one bowl of the finest and only stew we have on offer, plated with a sizable hunk of bread and a mug from the open barrel of ale in the kitchen. Oh, and the last of our eating butter. Don't concern yourself. Joan should be coming in tomorrow, weather permitting, with a new cask of butter. Now eat. You've travelled far, and I can imagine you're quite uncomfortable from the hours in the saddle it took to get you here. No, you didn't mention your horse, but when you have all night to stare at the fire, you become rather good at picking up the little clues about people. Like what? Well, take your boots, for instance. You can always tell a lot about a traveller from the boots they wear. Well, for starters, they're leather. Not hide nor fur, so you've not ridden from somewhere perpetually cold. They are finely made, but of solid construction, so you bought them to last, meaning you expect to travel frequently. Nobles buy fine shoes, but they suffer poorly on long journeys. You're a function over form kind of person. Also, if you look from the front door, you didn't track much in the way of mud in. Now, it could mean you cleaned your shoes off before you entered, but also the end of your cloak has very little mud on it. You definitely made quite the journey, as you and your cloak are completely soaked through. So, if you travelled on foot, you should be caked in mud up to your knees. Hence the horse. For what it's worth, if you were a dwarf, I would have guessed one of those large goats they seem so fond of. Moreover, I didn't hear the wheels of a wagon down the road. So, a mysterious stranger sets off on horseback in the pouring rain, and finds themselves in a warm inn at twilight. It's like something out of a good book. How did I do? Oh, you've no need to explain yourself to me. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to keep the hearth warm and the tables clean. How's the stew? Splendid. It's an old family recipe. I'll pass the praise on to my grandfather once he wakes up. Well, my family have owned the lit lamp for a couple of generations, so we've had a fair bit of time to work on the recipe. It's a secret of the inn, so I can't tell you what's in it unless you feel like marrying me. I'm only joking. By the stars, the look on your face. Now, am I really that unappealing? Calm yourself. You're the first night traveller we've had in months. Allow me a little fun. The last one we had was this rather pasty-looking fellow. He said he was on his way to Dawn Pond for some kind of research project for the Arcana Ubre. I wonder how he's getting on. Even further back, there was some treasure hunter wanting to sift through the old collapsed tower a few miles from here. The place burnt down ages ago, and by that I do mean literal ages. Well, once the place is clean, I read, I think, I watch the world go by. Perhaps I sneak the occasional nap when I'm certain no one's coming in for the evening. Oh, I can't complain, really. I have a warm home, a caring family, and enough money to keep us all fed. Still, I can't help but wonder what lies down the road. Perhaps there is more to this life than mopping and dusting. Out of the question. I could never leave. The inn has been open for generations. It's my duty to keep the tradition alive. Not to mention my grandfather is getting older and older each day. Soon enough he won't be able to work the days anymore, and someone will have to take care of everyone. Oh, I'm sure the world beyond the woodlands is magical and filled with adventure. But my place is here. I have everything I need. People, a place, and purpose. So, what brings you down the west road this late into the evening? It must be too urgent to wait for better weather. All right, keep your secrets, O stranger from a far-off land. Perhaps there are some things I would be better off not knowing. Just as long as you don't bring an inquisition storming into the building. But I would probably find that secret out sooner rather than later. Oh, yes, I suppose that would be an obvious line of questioning. My father would have inherited the inn from my grandfather before I would, but unfortunately he is no longer with us. You didn't upset me. It's quite all right. When I was a lad, my father left me and my mother to join the army of the Sovereign Imperium. Though I'm sure you're familiar with the Imperium's recruitment practices, he wasn't given much of a choice. Thankfully, I was far too young to join the ranks, otherwise we couldn't be having this conversation right now. He left when the soldiers started rounding up those able to fight in their conquests, all before the Imperium fell apart. When I was younger, there was always the hope that he would somehow find his way back to us. As you can probably tell, he never did. Don't apologize. It was a long time ago. And whilst the scar still stings, time dulls the wound. The pain reminds us of what we have lost. To have something to lose makes me lucky. Of course I miss him. He was a good man. He left to protect me and my mother. And part of me still wonders what happened to him. But once again, some mysteries aren't supposed to be solved. The real world is often messy stories told with hundreds of unresolved threads, and definitely not enough drama. I'm fine. It's good to think of him. Here, let me pour us each a drink in his honor. To those we have lost, we look forward to the day we meet them again. Cheers. Now, I better get back to work. Huh? What's that? You'd like a room for the evening? Well, unlike the food and drink, I might not get away with giving a room away for free. I will have to charge you for this. Very well. Let me think. Yes. We have but one room left. But I must warn you, it's the coziest room we have. Is this acceptable? Good. Here is your key. It should be the only door left open upstairs. Thank you for the conversation. I'll see you at dawn. Good night, traveler.